let's talk about something huge happening in software quality right now. We're on the verge of a massive shift, a move away from that endless, frustrating cycle of writing and fixing fragile test scripts over and over again. Instead, we're moving toward a future of truly autonomous and intelligent testing. So let's dive into what this future really looks like.
So why are we even having this conversation? Well, let's be honest. Why is modern software testing so broken? I mean, if you're in tech, you've definitely felt this pain, right? We're pushing code faster than ever before, but our QA practices, man, they just feel stuck in the past. It's become a bottleneck, not a booster.
Okay, so here's the game plan for today. First, we'll look at why traditional QA is hitting a wall. Then, we'll introduce the hero of our story, Agentic AI. After that, I'll walk you through a practical 4-phase roadmap to actually get started. We'll also tackle those tough questions, the roadblocks everyone worries about. And finally, we'll look at what this all means for the future role of the quality strategist.
All right, first up, the breaking point. So what's really going on here? For years, we've all been told that test automation scripts are the gold standard, right? But here's the thing. In the world of Agile and CICD, those very scripts are now the biggest thing slowing us down.
And listen, the pressure to change is only getting more intense. Forrester put out this bombshell. By the end of 2025, it's not going to be about experimenting with AI anymore. It's going to be a flat-out race just to keep up. So sticking with old school testing, it's not just inefficient, it's a huge risk to your business.
Yeah, this probably hits a little too close to home for a lot of QA folks. The plain truth is, traditional test scripts are just brittle. You know how it goes. One tiny UI tweak, and suddenly a whole cascade of tests just breaks. This creates a massive maintenance headache. It grinds release cycles to a halt and just floods your CI/CD pipeline with noise. It's this awful cycle where you spend more time fixing your tests than you do finding real bugs.
But what if there was a better way, a totally different approach? Well, this is where we introduce Agentic AI. It's not just an improvement, it's a whole new way of thinking about quality.
Okay, so what is Agentic AI, really? The simplest way to think about it is it's an autonomous system. It doesn't need you to write a detailed step-by-step instruction manual. It uses things like computer vision and natural language processing to actually understand your application, the context, what buttons do, what fields are for. You give it a goal, and it figures out how to get there all by itself.
And this right here, this is the fundamental shift. It's huge. Traditional automation is all about the how. You have to meticulously code every single click, every input, every check. It's incredibly detailed. But Agentic AI, it's all about the what. You just give it a high-level goal, something like check that a user can successfully buy something. And the AI agent handles all the how, adapting on the fly if the UI changes. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually make this happen in the real world? How do you get from this cool idea to actual value? Well, let's get practical. Here's a 4-phase roadmap you can follow.
It's a really logical journey. You start with phase 1, assess. Take a hard look at where you are now and build that business case. Then phase 2, pilot. This is crucial. You prove the value on one important project. Once you've got that win, you move to phase 3, integrate. You embed this into your day-to-day workflows. And finally, phase 4, scale. You take what you've learned and expand it across the whole company, maybe with a center of excellence. I really want to zoom in on phase 2 for a second, the pilot, because honestly, this is where you make or break it. This is not the time to try and solve every problem at once. Don't boil the ocean. The key is to pick one single critical user journey, one that's high value and maybe where your current tests are super flaky, and get a decisive, measurable win. That's how you get people excited and get the green light to go bigger. And when I say measurable, I really mean it. You need to track cold, hard data during this pilot.
We're talking about things like, how many hours of engineering time did we save because we weren't fixing broken locators? By what percentage did our flaky test rate go down? Did we reduce our change failure rate? These are the kinds of numbers that executives understand. It makes the value totally undeniable.
Okay, let's be real. Anytime you bring up a new technology, especially something with AI in the name, people are going to have questions. And they should. So let's get ahead of that and tackle the most common roadblocks right now. All right, roadblock number one, and it's always the first one people ask. Is this thing a black box? You know, the fear that we're just handing over control to some magical AI that we can't understand or see into? Are we losing control? The answer to that is a hard no. In fact, it's the opposite. The best agentic AI platforms are built from the ground up for transparency. You get these super clear, human-readable reports that show you exactly what the AI did and why it did it. So you're not losing control, you're actually getting full visibility and accountability for every single test. Okay, next big question, security. This is a huge one, right? Can we actually trust this in our enterprise environment, especially if it's touching sensitive data or our core systems?
And the answer here is yes, you can. The top-tier platforms are built for the enterprise. They have all the security stuff you'd expect. We're talking certifications like SOC 2, GDPR compliance, the whole shebang. They're designed to meet the tough security requirements that big companies demand.
And the last big roadblock? The fear of disruption. Nobody wants to hear that they have to throw out years of work and investment in their current tools. So, the big question is, do we have to rip and replace everything?
No, definitely not. The whole idea here is to augment your process, not replace it. These tools are designed to plug right into your existing CICD pipeline. They play nicely with tools you're already using, like Selenium or Appium. The goal isn't to get rid of your system, it's to get rid of the worst part of it. All that tedious, manual script upkeep.
So, once you get past those initial hurdles, what's on the other side? This is the really exciting part. We're talking about a complete transformation of what it even means to be in QA. Just look at the kind of business impact we're talking about. These are some ambitious but totally achievable goals. Imagine slashing manual maintenance by 70%, or boosting your test coverage by 50%, or cutting your test cycle times by a third. These aren't small tweaks. This is a massive competitive advantage. And this change requires a new way of working. A great way to think about it is this framework, GAED. GAED. It stands for Goal, Agent, Evidence, and Decision. So your team defines the business goal. You deploy the AI agent to do the work. The agent gives you back clear evidence. And then your team uses that evidence to make a smart, strategic decision. See the shift? It moves QA away from just running tests to actually analyzing results and making strategic calls.
And that's really the ultimate destination here. When you automate away all that tedious, low-value work, you free up your incredibly smart engineers to focus on what really matters, the high-impact strategic stuff. Your QA team stops being a gatekeeper or a bottleneck, and they become a genuine partner in driving the business forward.
So, I'll just leave you with this one final thought to chew on. Right now, is your QA team a cost center, just buried in maintenance and fighting with broken scripts? Or is it ready to become an engine for innovation, the team that actually drives speed and quality for the entire company? Because with Agentic AI, that choice is becoming clearer and more possible than ever before.